Okay, guys, we're gonna start. Thanks for attending this panel on success stories in building partnerships. My name is Goran Saveski. I'm the moderator for this panel. I'd just like to introduce our three panelists here today. On my left first is Chris Temovsky. Chris invented the pharmaceutical industry in Canada. And then after that, so Chris has had a long career in the pharmaceutical industry in Canada, and now he currently heads the Ddrops company, vitamin Ddrops. Next, like I mentioned, Chris Temovsky from Ddrops. Chris, come on down.
Well, first I wanted to thank Goran, Blagodarim, okay? Because if it wasn't for Goran inventing the internet, Tim would be out of business. So I'm glad you did that all by yourself. And well, my presentation won't really be focusing on Ddrops. I thought I would talk a little bit more about my experience with Macedonia trying to bring products, pharmaceutical healthcare related products here. So all I can say about vitamin D and Ddrops is we're all terribly deficient and we should all be taking it. And our business is built one drop at a time, and Goran's a perfect example of a healthy Macedonian boy taking his vitamin D.
Diet drops, that would be good too.
Okay, so let's see if my slides show up. Oh, just one second. But just in the meantime, the core of the 5 slides here relates back to an experience I had early 2008, where I had the privilege of visiting about 7 pharmaceutical companies in Macedonia and some distributors, and I was kind of like, you know, those people you see on the Kashi commercials where they're looking for different types of herbs and spices that they can bring in and make into interesting products. Well, I was looking for innovative pharmaceutical products, and I had, through some of my friends, linked into the government people in Macedonia, and they were suggesting that, you know, we do have a pretty robust industry. Why don't you come over and we'll hook you up with some people and you can come and see our manufacturers. And I have to say, I was just blown away by the experience set, particularly in natural health products in Macedonia. And it's a long one. It goes back many generations where there's, you know, bee pollen type products and all these very interesting products. So I thought, you know, there's an opportunity to bring these to Canada for sure, and especially with our emerging healthcare area that's really aiming towards alternative medicine and, you know, natural health products. I really wanted to make sure that you know, we have some exposure to these products. My slides are not working though. I can speak to most of what was on the slides anyway. My takeaway from the products is there's tremendous opportunity, very good quality products. I was particularly impressed by the GMP standards that many of these companies were operating at. It was actually kind of a pleasant surprise because I didn't know what to expect. You know, you see pictures of you know, old factories from the outside, and then you walk in and you see that they are actually state of the art. You know, they've been redesigned, they've been brought up to modern day standards, they're all GMP compliant. And I have to say that some of the products particularly impressed me because they were local, they were made based on the needs of the population, and they'd been kind of untapped. They've never been taken outside of Macedonia. And as a marketer, that's always the opportunity, because you see a product or a product range that you know from your experience has application elsewhere. You want to be the first one in to partner and take it away. Well, the challenge though I came up with was, or came across, was partnership. You know, that misused word in business. What does partnership mean? And I learned that in North America, partnership means many things. In Macedonia, it means everything from the true academic MBA term of partnership, meaning we share the risk all the way through to the sale and the payment and everything. Then there was the, you know, I'll call it the quasi-Macedonian partnership, which was partnership means you buy a container full of product from me, you pay for it, and after that, I have nothing to do with it, right? I've made the product, You take it, you sell it wherever you're going to sell it. So somewhere between that is the true opportunity for partnership. And what I found is with the companies I met with, there was a range. There was incredibly proficient companies that understood what it meant, were prepared to take the risk, were prepared to come to Canada, were prepared to take the risk on not only the production side of the product, but the regulatory side and the marketing side. And I found that very, very impressive. There were some companies that took that latter approach that I somewhat comically tried to put across. But I think that we need to work on that. I think we need to work on, bringing companies from there to understand that it's not just making the product and putting it in a container on a boat to Canada. It's getting the regulatory steps in place, making sure, you see the product through all the regulatory hurdles, because unless you have a license to operate, you cannot sell product legitimately in North America. You cannot sell it because no retailer would want to take on the product. You cannot get liability insurance for it. Liability is a big issue here in comparison to Macedonia. So, getting all those steps working together, partnering in on all those steps is something that I hope we can see going forward. And I'm very confident we can, particularly some of the younger people that I met that really did have a keen interest in working closely with Canadian and American companies to bring products here. We're not too far away. I think within the next 5 years, we will see more of that type of partnership happening. And I think one of the real gems with the products that I saw in Macedonia is there are some very unique products and therapeutic approaches that the West, so to speak, the Western North American markets could absolutely use. They just have to be readied for it. And there's an opportunity there. You can smell it, you can feel it, but nobody's done it yet. And I think what will happen is we need one good win. And it's no different. The example I like using is a product called Zithromax. Was made by a Croatian company many, many years ago. It turned out to be a blockbuster. Pliva was the name of the company. Turned out to be a blockbuster, which Pfizer ended up buying Pliva, a worldwide product, a multi-billion-dollar product. So, that part of the world has the opportunity to innovate in a very unique way. Macedonia is no different. The future of, products like the Zithromaxes are there. They just need to be selected, and they need to be invested and partnered in properly to bring to the Canadian, US, Australian markets as probably first entry points. That's really all I had to say of my personal experience. Sorry the slides did not come through, but I'd be interested in any questions you might have later on. Okay, thank you.
Thanks very much, Chris. It's very informative, especially from a specific industry such as that, tying that in with Macedonia. I'd be interested to actually ask you more in the future, your experiences. We did touch on that once, but it is something that I think there's untapped potential there that we could definitely look into further.